And speaking of prayer, our chaplains are ready to pray with us again during services. And so Wendy is here with us today as our chaplain, and she will be at the social time after the very beginning to let you know how to contact her if you have a prayer need right after service. So we give thanks to the chaplains for supporting us in prayer. And today I just want to give thanks to the people who are involved in the service today. First of all, Chris Italiano, who is our IT guy and our bookkeeper and longtime congregant. So we're really happy Chris is here with us today, as always.
Good morning.
And then also I want to introduce a new worship assistant today. His name is Gary Gangness. And some of you will recognize him from classes and events over the past number of months, as he's been an active participant at Unity North Spiritual Center. And yet this is the first time I've ever had a worship assistant who lives 1,800 miles away. He is from Aptos, which is in the Santa Cruz, California area. And that's one of the blessings of the virtual reality. So I knew Gary when he served in the church there, when I served there, rather 12 to 15 years ago. He was my former board treasurer and also worship assistant at that time. So I'm so glad you're joining the worship assistant team today, Gary. And our musician will play before Gary speaks, but please help me to welcome Gary anyway, at this point. Thank you, Gary. And then now I want to introduce our musician, and he has quite a bio, but I do want to give you some background so you really know more about him. I know when I mentioned he was coming, some of you were excited because you knew him, and I know others of you do not. So I know Daniel because he lives less than an hour away from my former church in Torrance, California. And so he would come and sing for us now and then. And he did a concert for us as well. So we got to know him, and I've heard him at conferences as well. So, and I know the first conference where I heard him, I was blown away and just very excited to have him nearby. So he has performed his heart-opening original music for over 1 million people in 45 US states and Canada since beginning his music career in '99. He has sold 110,000 CDs and 10,000 printed songbooks to date. And his songs are recorded.
What's a CD? I forget. What's a CD?
Oh, yeah, there is that, isn't there?
That one, certificate of deposit, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go on.
His songs are recorded and performed all over the world on a weekly basis. Recent media appearances of Daniel's music include Saturday Night Live, The Voice, American Idol, the Super Bowl, and the Today Show. Daniel has been featured on numerous cable and radio broadcasts in over 90 countries in all kinds of venues imaginable. He's presented his music and message for nearly all of the world's major faiths, and alongside many of the influential speakers and leaders, including Gene Houston, Marianne Williamson, Deepak Chopra, Mark Victor Hansen, Arun Gandhi, Yolanda King, and Neil Donald Walsh. So Daniel lives and works in Orange County, California, with his wife, who is a jeweler. Her name is Melina Namad, and also his 9-year-old son, Jude. So please give Daniel a warm Unity welcome so he can see it anyway.
Thank you. Hello. You forgot to mention the puppy. We have a puppy. His name is Lucky, and Lucky is a recent adoptee. We brought him into the family about a month ago, and that's been pretty special too. And he's very soft and fluffy, and has yet to figure out that when he is given a toy, he can play with it. Anyway, nice to see you all. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy December. The theme this morning is love. Can't think of a more appropriate theme, and I happen to have a few songs on the subject, but let's begin singing together. This is a song I wrote way back right when I almost first started making a living making music. I lived in Chicago, grew up in Chicago, pretended to be a computer programmer for a few years before driving across the country to LA to start making albums and singing songs. And soon after I wrote this song, which I actually dismissed when I wrote it. I didn't think about it. I put it on a little cassette. Remember cassettes too. And a friend of mine came over to the apartment and said, "Hey, Danny, you written anything lately?" And I said, "I don't know. Listen to the cassette." And she pressed play, and this song was on it. And she said, "Danny, I think that's a nice song." So I started playing it a little bit in public, and 20 years later, it's got some legs. And I still feel it, and I still mean it, and it's still a sneaky thing to say out loud. The song is called "Love Is My Decision." And I don't know about you, but I do not always decide to be loving. I don't know if I bat maybe 60, 65%. I couldn't say. It depends what highway I'm on and what time of day. So let's sing this together. If you don't know it, I'll give you the lyrics as we go. And good morning again. Nice to be with you. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. So sing "Love Is." Here we go. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start, can tell me to start. That's the first half. The second half repeats each time. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. All right, here's the second verse. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to stand on that bridge, to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive, can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Right here and now. One more verse, here we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to dance down that road, to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load, can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Right here and now. My decision right here and now. There you go. Nice singing from afar. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Daniel. What a great song for today. And what a treat it is to have you with us. So thank you so much for joining us. So good morning, everyone. My name is Gary Gangnes, and it's really nice to be with you today in this way. So we'd like to ask if there's anybody here for the first time today. Would you wave so we could greet you if you are? Back up, Howard. Did I? Okay, well, welcome. Is there anybody here from another, any of the people new here from another state or from another country? Oh my gosh. So if you're from another out of the area, would you please unmute yourself in the lower left-hand corner and tell us where you're from and who you are? Rebecca?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Thompson. I'm from Kathy's Church in the South Bay, California, and I followed Daniel up here to say hello.
All right, welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And was there somebody else? Yes.
Yes, I'm Rebecca Oberlin, and I'm currently in Fort Worth, Texas.
Wow.
I'm an old friend of Kathy's from a long time ago. So I'm very happy to be with you today.
Well, thank you for joining us. The magic of Zoom, I guess. It's wonderful. So for those of you that are fairly new to Zoom, like I am, I'd never heard of it before the pandemic. There's a couple things to know. One is that Chris will mute everybody. We like to have everybody stay muted because background noise, can multiply and so forth. So when it's time, if you want to say something, you have to unmute yourself. And then in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you can choose between two different views. I think, am I pointing to the right? Yes, up here. You can have speaker view, or you can have gallery view. So speaker view allows you to see just who's talking, or the musician, or a slide. And then gallery view allows you to see all the pages and all people. And we have a couple pages of people today, so you can scroll to the right or to the left. So glad to be here. Glad you're all here. And we're going to now allow some time for our personal prayer and prayer requests. Silent Unity is praying right now in Missouri, as they have been 24 hours a day for over 100 years, 130 years. So we will have you, rather than say your prayers aloud, you can say them to yourself, or you can speak them aloud, of course, in the privacy of your home. And so we're going to have some time for prayer right now. We give thanks in advance for these prayers, and we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. And let's remain still and centered as I read today's daily word. Today's word is love. And the affirmation is love surrounds me and fills my heart. Love surrounds me and fills my heart. Love fills my senses throughout this Advent season. I find it in the taste and aroma of my favorite holiday recipes, lovingly made. I hear it in my favorite Christmas music, sung with joy. I feel love in a child's enthusiastic hug and in a friend's caring touch. I see love and joy in the festive decorations adorning the houses in the neighborhoods. The love of friends, family, and neighbors at Christmas time surrounds me in so many ways, Throughout the year, love remains the most beautiful evidence of the presence of God in and through all things. Love is the harmonizing power that infuses the world and everyone in it. Inspired by divine love, I perceive the divine in every person and all situations. And the Bible verse today is well known. It's from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. And the greatest of these is love.
Here's a little song to prepare for meditation. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Now sing that with me. When I pray, I feel my heart. I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love. I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right here, right now, right now, right where I am, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, right where I am, I pray. Once more, right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
I invite you to sit back now. Relax, close your eyes, prepare for meditation. Take several deep breaths, and as you let them go, begin to relax your mind and body. Once again, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, say to your body, I'm completely and totally relaxed. Allow me to speak the words for you, taking them in as your own. I'm now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am one with the infinite power of the universe, one with the Christ, the perfect idea in all of creation. I'm one with the hidden life, vibrant in every atom. One with the hidden light shining in every creature. Oh, hidden love, embracing all life. I know my oneness with you now, and I know I am one with every other within the great web of life. If there is any belief within me that would deny this truth, I release it right here and now. I see it dissolved in the light of the Christ. If there is any resentment or unforgiveness within me for myself or for another, I release it right here and now. I see it dissolved in the infinite power of the universe. If there's any appearance of a problem with my health, my finances, my work, or any other area of my life, I release it here and now. I turn it over and see it dissolved in the perfect love of God. As Christmas approaches, the same love now awakens the dreams of my heart. These dreams are more powerful than any limitation. My dreams for my own life, my loved ones, and for the world are more powerful than any fear. I am now guided to follow God's perfect will for my life. My gifts, my passion, my joy lead me to fulfill my heart's desire. Loving Spirit, charge my body with your power and vitality. Charge my life with your life. Charge my soul with your eternal love. And I surrender myself to you in the silence. Thank you, God, for your divine presence within me and within all life. Thank you for the realization of our divine potential, for the love that enfolds and blesses each one of us. Thank you for this season of love and for this day and the presence of the Christ, blessing us all. And so it is. Amen.
I remember as a kid somebody giving me a Batman toy. I said, oh boy. Then I ran and hid it. Figured I'll come back for this one. I don't have to share it with another kid. But I forgot, and I never did. And then 40 years later, I found that Batman again. I'm glad I've learned since then. Sharing is the very best part. Sharing your toys, sharing your heart. Oh no, nothing ever feels so good as giving it away. Having someone to play with. Being happy isn't having your own stuff. No, no, it's sharing your love. Do, 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 do. Yeah. I remember how my neighbor never seemed to have enough to eat. Old tires on his car, old shoes on his feet. First I hesitated, wondered if I really had enough to spare. It's not that I didn't care, but I got my own worries, man, and well, life ain't fair. Then one day I made some extra tuna mac and cheese, picked up a second set of Adidas, because the truth was sharing is the very best part. Sharing your good, sharing your heart. Oh no, nothing ever feels so good as giving it away, making somebody else's day. Being happy isn't having more stuff. No, no, it's sharing your love. Yeah. Well, then I met this girl. In a minute, I was hers. In a year, she was my bride. Now I've never been so sure that sharing is the very best part. Sharing your life, sharing your heart. Oh no, nothing ever feels so good as giving it away, coming home at the end of the day. Oh, being happy isn't having your own stuff. No, happiness ain't having the most stuff. Being happy isn't having more stuff. No, no, it's sharing your love. Yeah. It's sharing your love. Oh, it's sharing your love. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. What a great song. I love that song. So today's lesson is the power of love. It's the third week of Advent, so we invoke the spirit of love, which is our theme today as we approach Christmas. And it is a time of deepening and anticipation of the inner birth of a greater Christ consciousness. I like the scripture from Colossians 3:14. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. In a Charlie Brown Christmas special, Charlie Brown just could not get into the Christmas spirit. Thus, his little friend Linus observed, "Charlie Brown, you're the only person I know who can take a wonderful season like Christmas and turn it into a problem." Well, for Jesus's contemporaries, the idea behind Christmas was a problem. But for us, what a gift the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes has turned out to be. What a gift we have been given in the Christmas event. And that is what Christmas is about, the gift. It is the spirit of love enveloping all of life. And sometimes it can turn into a problem. It seems to get lost in the stress of the season. Shopping, traffic, spending money, feeling depressed, all of the issues of family coming up, sometimes because we're with them more than usual, but this year especially because we may not be able to be with them at all. Or perhaps we're alone and we do not even have family. But beneath all of it, there is a loving spirit everywhere present that expresses outwardly as Santa Claus, the giver of gifts, and spiritually as the cosmic Christ, the presence of love and wholeness within all life. Whether we speak of Santa Claus or the Christ, both are the same spirit, which live in the hearts and minds of all people who believe in joy, and the joy that giving to others can bring. The real spirit of Christmas is the gift of love, the gift of giving and receiving. Reverend Vermedal tells of his favorite Christmas. He was recently out of the seminary in Chicago in 1959. He found himself leading a poor congregation in a small Wyoming parish whose elderly minister had died of a sudden heart attack. And he said, I had arrived about a month before Christmas, just a kid in my mid-20s, lonely for my family. I thought I was being punished to have been sent to this place. With Christmas fast approaching, Reverend Vermedal attempted to stir up enthusiasm among the choir director and the dozen or so members of the choir to attempt a seasonal oratorio such as Handel's Messiah. Well, the choir director began to cry, and he knew he had intimidated her. So he said, whatever you come up with will be fine. Well, 2 nights before Christmas Eve, he was the one who had tears in his eyes after listening to the practice. They were tears of frustration. The grand Christmas Mass he had imagined was not about to happen here. So later that night, he phoned his parents and he said to them, I keep asking why I was sent to this God-forsaken place. The words were no sooner out of his mouth when he glanced up to see the shocked face of his church secretary standing in the doorway of his office. Reverend Vermedal, she said, we don't think God has forsaken us here in our little town. We very much feel that God is with us. With those words, she set the bulletins down, reached for her coat, and walked briskly from his study. When he stepped up into the pulpit on Christmas Eve, he was extremely uncomfortable, not knowing how many people had been informed of his attitude. As if to compensate for his mistake, he read with great enthusiasm the Bible passages from Luke that tell the ageless story of that first Christmas Eve, emphasizing the verses that speak of the angels announcing the birth of Jesus. At that very moment, he recalled, the door opened in the back and a beautiful young woman in a white gown walked down the aisle directly to the front of the church where the choir stood decked out in their red and green robes. Although I had never seen the lovely woman with the reddish blonde hair before, I assumed the choir director had recruited her. Without saying a word to Mrs. Martindale, the director, who appeared rather astonished by her sudden appearance, the woman turned to face the congregation and began in a rich contralto voice to sing, He shall feed his flock like a shepherd, from Handel's oratorio, Messiah. Never had I heard it sung with such majesty and richness. The lovely woman standing before us in her almost dazzling white gown, singing a cappella, provided us with an interpretation that was magical, enchanting, unworldly. When she had completed the selection, she stepped down and walked back up the aisle and she was gone. The ushers looking outside could not see her and thought she had disappeared. All vehicles were accounted for and nobody knew who she was. And these many years later, he said, I truly believe we were visited by an angel that Christmas Eve. No one has seen her since, but she certainly demonstrated to all present, and especially me, that there are no places in the universe that are God forsaken. I happily continued to serve that congregation for another 15 years. So it was the gift of a miracle. A late night talk show host once said, did you hear that the atheists have produced a Christmas play? It's called Coincidence on 34th Street. Well, a group of school youngsters were told to draw the pictures for Christmas cards they would give their parents, but to get the verse from a card that they found at home. And that's why one mother and father received this greeting from their daughter. It's been a pleasure to do business with you. Well, the glory of Christmas is to give the best we can, to learn to give of ourselves the year round, and to give God the best we can for the rest of our lives. When we give of ourselves, we can make such a difference. You know, both of my sons married women who work with dogs. Melanie works for County Animal Control in Sonoma County, California. And Bethany has a dog grooming business at her home in Minot, North Dakota. Melanie and my son, Chris, and their two girls just lost their beloved dog, Henry, this week. He died very suddenly while he was being slowly taken off of a medication with the vet's help. It was a shock to all of us. I wrote about it in my weekly letter. But I was living with them for a time in between churches, and I was there when they first brought him home as a puppy. I helped to take care of him for nearly 8 months and became part of his pack. And whenever I would visit, he was as excited as the girls were. So we have all been grieving this week. And, you know, I would love to meet some of those dogs who provide canine therapy to those after disasters, like those Goldens who went in after the hurricane so people could just hug them. These loving beings give of themselves to help others, as do those who train them. I love the story in Time about the mini Schnauzer who rushed to her owner's bedside. When Nancy Frank of Cedar Rapids, Iowa was in the hospital recovering from cancer, her friends and family visited, as might be expected. But she also got a surprising caller, her miniature Schnauzer, Sissy. What made the visit remarkable was not just that hospitals don't typically allow dogs on patient wards. It was that Sissy walked the 20 blocks to Mercy Medical Center on her own, even though she had never been there before. She was caught on video cameras looking around the lobby, trying to figure out where her owner was. She was on a mission that night to see her mom, Nancy's husband, Dale Frank, told ABC News, but she couldn't find the right elevator to take. In the end, Sissy got her wish. Security guards found her, read her tags, and called the Frank home. And when the Frank's daughter, Sarah, went to pick Sissy up, she got permission to let the devoted pet pay a visit to her owner's bedside. A big win for canine persistence and love. Well, as we approach Christmas, we remember the birth of Jesus, which symbolizes the awakening of greater divine love in each one of us. In Unity, we teach that Jesus was the man and Christ is the consciousness that he attained, becoming a fully realized being. So for us to experience this birth within, we must take a journey, just as Mary and Joseph did. It is the journey to the true self, a journey in consciousness in which we wake up. And it is in many ways a journey from the head to the heart, a journey into greater love. Some children ages 4 to 8 were asked the question, what does love mean? Rebecca, age 8, said, when my grandmother got arthritis, she could not bend over and paint her toenails anymore. So my grandfather does it for her all the time, even when his hands got arthritis too. That's love. 7-year-old Matthew said, when you tell someone something bad about yourself and you're scared they won't love you anymore, but then you get surprised because not only do they still love you, they love you even more. 7-year-old Noel said, love is when you tell a guy you like his shirt and then he wears it every day. And Marianne, age 4, said, love is when your puppy licks your face even after you left him alone all day. Well, last year, my granddaughters decorated their Christmas tree in pairs, hanging up all the ornaments together in twos to show their sister love. And they were into singing the song Sisters from the show Winter Wonderland for anyone who showed up at their house. So one of the spiritual practices we teach in Unity is called Beholding the Christ. We look past the outer personality, the outer appearance of a person, and we behold the Christ, the divine within. And we can practice this when we look into someone's eyes. We can see them as a child of God with a long history, a powerful life story, and know they have lived through a lot of challenges and have persevered. And within them is the divine presence. In a way, we can truly open our hearts and love one another. There's a saying that Christ has no hands or feet or voice in the world except ours. Our good deeds are like a pebble cast into a pond. They create ripples that spread in all directions. Well, an example of a good deed is shared in this story. A woman writes, in just a small white envelope stuck among the branches of our Christmas tree. No name, no identification, no inscription. It has peeked through the branches of our tree for the past 10 years or so. It all began because my husband, Mike, hated Christmas. Oh, not the true meaning of Christmas, but the commercial aspects of it. Overspending. The frantic running around at the last minute to get a tie for Uncle Harry and dusting powder for Grandma, the gifts given in desperation because you couldn't think of anything else. Well, knowing he felt this way, I decided one year to bypass the usual shirts, sweaters, ties, and so forth. And I reached for something special just for Mike. And the inspiration came in an unusual way. Our son, Kevin, who was 12 that year, was wrestling at the junior level at the school he attended. And shortly before Christmas, there was a non-league match against a team sponsored by an inner city church, mostly Black. And these youngsters dressed in sneakers so ragged that shoestrings seemed to be the only thing holding them together, presented a sharp contrast to our boys in their spiffy blue and gold uniforms and sparkling new wrestling shoes. Well, as the match began, I was alarmed to see that the other team was wrestling without headgear, kind of light helmet designed to protect a wrestler's ears. It was a luxury the ragtag team obviously could not afford. Well, we ended up walloping them. We took every weight class. And as each of their boys got up from the mat, he swaggered around in his tatters with false bravado, kind of street pride that couldn't acknowledge defeat. Mike, seated beside me, shook his head sadly. I wish just one of them could have won, he said. They have a lot of potential, but losing like this could take the heart right out of them. Mike loved kids, all kids, and he knew them having coached Little League football, baseball, and lacrosse. And that's when the idea for his present came. That afternoon, I went to a local sporting goods store and bought an assortment of wrestling headgear and shoes and sent them anonymously to that inner city church. On Christmas Eve, I placed the envelope on the tree, the note inside telling Mike what I had done and that this was his gift from me. His smile was the brightest thing about Christmas that year and in succeeding years. For each Christmas, I followed the tradition. One year, sending a group of mentally handicapped youngsters to a hockey game. Another year, a check to a pair of elderly brothers whose home had burned to the ground the week before Christmas, and on and on. The envelope became the highlight of our Christmas. It was always the last thing opened on Christmas morning, and our children, ignoring their new toys, would stand with wide-eyed anticipation as their dad lifted the envelope from the tree to reveal its contents. As the children grew, the toys gave way to more practical presents, but the envelope never lost its allure. And the story doesn't end there. You see, we lost Mike last year, and when Christmas rolled around, I was still so wrapped up in grief, I barely got the tree up. But Christmas Eve found me placing an envelope on the tree. And in the morning, it was joined by 3 more. Each of our children, unbeknownst to the others, had placed an envelope on the tree for their dad. The tradition has grown, and someday will expand even further with our grandchildren standing around the tree with wide-eyed anticipation, watching as their fathers take down the envelope. Mike's spirit, like the Christmas spirit, will always be with us. May we know and feel the true Christmas spirit in this time of divisiveness. Whether that separation comes from different religious or political beliefs, different cultures, races, or different values, let us know beyond that. We are all one God, one people, one planet, surrounded and enfolded in God's love. Thank you. God bless you. May you have a love-filled Christmas season.
There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, or Jesus, or Lord. Call it Buddha, Allah, Hashem, or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, yeah. One power, what we are. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. Oh, what we are is one. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
Wow, thank you, Daniel. That was, yesterday when we spoke and you said you were going to do this song called One Power. I didn't know it, I hadn't heard it. So I just did a search on YouTube and there you were. And so I watched it, listened to it, and apparently so have 65,000 other people. There's a lot of people. So I had to listen to it 3 times yesterday. So I love that. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
What a blessing. So this is the time in our service when we bless our offerings. And since we cannot collect them live, we invite you to go to our website, unitynorthmn.org, and there's an orange donate button right there. Or if you prefer to mail a check, you could get the address on the website as well. And for the slide that's on the screen, there's I forget what these things are called, a square thing with a lot of stuff in the middle.
QR code.
QR code, thank you, that's it. You could turn the camera on your phone and hold it up to it and it will provide the link right there automatically. So we are grateful for all of the offerings and we give thanks in advance for them. So let us speak our love offering blessings together. The words are on the screen. Together, divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful.
All right, well, I have the opportunity to sing one more song for you all. I'm torn a little bit, but I feel like I have a song that I think ties together several things that have been said and thought about today. Kathy, you know, I mentioned my puppy. I had no idea you were going to talk about dogs. What a funny coincidence. And actually, even more so, because I am aware that I just in general talk too much in my life. I'm a, you know, I'm kind of a self-absorbed that way. It's just true. And I wish it wasn't true, but it is. Um, I actually stopped myself from saying more about the puppy because one of the real significances of the fact that we adopted Lucky a month ago was that about 2 or 2.5 months ago, a puppy we had died, and that little dog Gigi was Jude's best buddy. You know, cuddled with him and slept with him every night, and he was, I mean, she was his pride and joy. I would drive him to school with Gigi hanging out the window, and Jude would make sure that all his friends got to wave to Gigi. And she died. She ate poison and died, and broke the family's heart. And Jude was just sad for weeks, obviously. Honestly, he's still sad. But that sadness has waned quite a bit because we went to a dog adoption event, not expecting anything, and came across a dog that really looked a lot like Gigi, and immediately filled him up with that sense of belonging and friendship and love again. And now, you know, so anyway, it hasn't, the sadness, the grief hasn't faded. But anyway, I couldn't believe some of the things you were talking about and the things that I said and didn't say about our dog Lucky and what a difference Lucky's made. It reminds me of this bumper sticker I saw that said, you know, who rescued whom, with a picture of a dog on it. Anyway, so on the subject of my boy and on the subject of love and kindness, I'll give you this song before we close today. It's a song that I wrote. I didn't expect to write, but it was inspired by a moment that we got a phone call from our boy's teacher saying that he had done something really small but really special. There was a little boy in the class who had really struggled. English. He didn't speak English yet. He had just arrived from Vietnam, and had all kinds of disciplinary issues. A little boy, so not serious disciplinary issues, but he couldn't understand instructions. You know, didn't go where he was told to go because, you know, he didn't understand anything that was going on. He just arrived, didn't know a person, didn't know where he was, didn't know anything. And one day after reading a book to the class, the teacher called us and said, I finished reading the book to the 28 kids on the rug. This is, you know, little kids, maybe 6 years old. And she said, your son raised his hand and said, I thought Evan did such a good job listening that he should get an extra point today. That was it. But I told Jude, I said, that might have been the first time. He said, Evan didn't probably understand what you said. But he knew how it felt. And he knew how the room turned to him and smiled. And it might have been the first time that he was received and greeted with nothing but love and acceptance, nothing but warmth, nothing but approval, right? Nothing he needed to understand or was confused about. It just felt good. And I promise you, I said, it made a difference. You may never know the difference it made, but it made a difference in his life. And 6 months later or so, I found myself writing a song inspired by that moment that I think I will share with you this morning before we go. Lately I've been thinking about what motivates me to give a couple dollars to a stranger on the street, to hold the door, carry groceries, help a neighbor in need. When history repeats itself in headlines every day, solutions never big enough for problems that we face. As a man, as a dad, what difference can I make? 'Cause I know better than to think I'll be remembered for a favor or a quarter or a smile. Oh, but maybe before I return to sender, I can do one thing worthwhile. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to raise a kind child. Sure would help if our boy went and got an MBA and took care of his artist mom and dad in their old age. But let's face it, Wall Street probably isn't in his DNA. But when his first grade teacher said she wanted us to know, it's Jude who always comforts any kid who sits alone. There's just so much pride my heart can take. My retirement can wait. Cause I know better than to think I'll be remembered for a fortune or a pension or a prize. Oh, but maybe before I return to sender, I'll have done one thing worthwhile. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to raise a kind child. I don't want him to think the world is his to save. It's too much pressure anyway, it can't be done. I don't want him to think he has to be a saint, 'cause the truth is saints don't have any fun. Mostly I just hope, my boy, you'll come to understand. No 401k or GPA can make a happy man. It's having roots, doing good, helping out where you can. So put down roots, do some good, take somebody's hand. And you'll know better than most what really matters, what makes living this life worthwhile. And there may come a day your own kids will remember how their granddad used to say with a smile that he raised. We raised a kind child. There you go.
Thank you again, Daniel. What a fabulous song. And you wrote that too, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And great story that went along with it. We hope you come back soon and join us for another service. It's wonderful. Thank you.
You know what, I forgot to mention that I've been doing a ton of shows on Facebook. This is not a for-profit announcement. This is just an invitation. I mean, we're talking about like 70 or 80 concerts and all kinds of workshops and things I've been giving away on Facebook all year since I haven't been able to tour. If anybody wants to, like, for example, tomorrow night I'm doing a holiday sing-along at 8 o'clock your time. And my Facebook page is just Daniel Namod USA. And if you go there on Facebook, you'll see tons and tons of things to watch, or you can just drop by tomorrow night or any Monday night. They're usually 9 o'clock your time, but tomorrow night a little earlier so families can join me for a holiday sing-along. But lots of stuff to watch. You could binge watch me for days. I don't recommend it, but it's that much stuff I've done on Facebook to try to continue to do what I most want to do with my music, which is a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of inspiration at a time when I think more people maybe need it than kind of approximately ever. So that's what I've been doing on Facebook. So you're all invited to partake anytime, any way you like. Daniel Maymod USA. All right. That's it.
Very good. I think I'll do that tomorrow night. That sounds like fun. And what a generous thing you do by giving this all away during the pandemic, just for raising spirits. And you are so appreciated by so many, I'm sure, and us as well. Thanks again. And now we'll have some community news and announcements. All of the events except for the distant healing will be on Zoom. And more information about the events can be found on our website, unitynorthmn.org. All times are Central Standard Time. So tomorrow, December 14th, Monday, and every Monday, there's a Monday night chat with Donna Snyder or Gina Booth, and that happens at 7 o'clock on Mondays. The distant healing will take place at 7 p.m. on the 17th, Thursday, and all Thursdays, including Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, which both fall on, of course, they both fall on the same day, both fall on Thursdays this year. Requests to be in the healing group list can be made on the Friends of Unity North Facebook page. And there are still some holiday bags with some items, so you can participate in the holiday services virtually in an active way. If you have not yet picked yours up, you can reach Darlinda at the church office number, and she will arrange a time for you to come by and pick that up. So next Sunday, the 20th of December, is the Christmas service, and the music will be by Rich Miller. That, of course, is 10:30 in the morning. And if you'd like to dress up for that a little bit, you could, of course, come as you are, as always. So everything is optional. But if you have a funny Christmas sweater or something red or whatever, you could put that on. And you only have to, do that from like here up, because you only see the top half of us on Zoom. So that should be fun. 22nd at 7 o'clock in the evening, there's a shaman class with Carl Schlotterbeck. And then Christmas Eve, Friday night, there'll be a Christmas Eve candle lighting service at 9 o'clock in the evening with music by Amy and Adams. Then December 27th is the Burning Bowl and Letters to God Sunday service. And music for that will be provided by Jennifer Russell. And that's at, of course, 10:30 in the morning. And December 31st, New Year's Eve at 6 a.m., our YOU, Youth of Unity, they do their annual New Year's Eve very early morning service that they've been doing for many, many years, and it's called Peace is Present Now. And that link is on our website for that. So you want to get up early and stay up late on New Year's Eve. January 3rd will be the White Stone ceremony at the Sunday service. And finally, Friday evening, January the 8th, will be the 12 Powers service with Reverend Kathy and Rhonda Italiano at 7 o'clock in the evening. And those are the announcements and community news for today. And I'll turn it back over to Reverend Kathy for the prayer for protection.
And before we do our prayer for protection, I just want to once again, well, thank you, Gary, for today, your first time in a lot of years, and
Yes.
did a great job. Thank you so much. And thank you to Daniel for being here. It was really wonderful to be with you again in the service, and I do hope you come back. I love your songs. You always make me cry in a good way.
Thank you, and I'm sorry. Yeah.
So thank you. Let's give him another hand. All right. And now let's join in our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now please join in our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Happy
Thank
holidays.
you. And before you log out, we'll have a social time for as long as you'd like to stay for up to 30 minutes. And thank you all for being here today. And the dogs and the cats that were here too that we saw. That was perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.